The Porsche 917 was the brainchild of engineering genius Ferdinand Piëch, the grandchild of Ferdinand Porsche and nephew of Ferry Porsche. The 917 was the only Porsche model produced with the 12-cylinder engine and experimentally even with the 16-cylinder. When the new rules for the International Championship for Sports Cars were made public at the end of 1967, the team in Stuttgart-Zuffenhausen decided to build a new race car for the under 5-liter class. It's hard to overstate the importance of the 917, both to the company that built it and to racing in general. It delivered Porsche the first of its 19 overall wins, so far, at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. It launched the company into a period of international sports car racing dominance that lasted through much of the 1970s and 1980s. It played a starring role in Steve McQueen's 1971 film about the 24-hour classic, Le Mans. Then, the 917's turbocharged variants, aka the Turbo Panzers, so thoroughly steamrolled the competition in Can-Am racing that they effectively ended the series. The 917 is also one of the cars that made both the Gulf and Martini color schemes among the most beloved color liveries in motorsport. The 1969 Le Mans race was a bad one for the Porsche team, as none of the 917s entered were able to finish. Seeing that John Wyer's Gulf team was such a slick operation and looking to reduce costs, Porsche sought out Wyer to race the 917 in the World Championship of Makes for 1970 and 1971. When asked in a meeting with the Porsche bosses how many cars he would need to win the championship, Wyer replied that 2 or 3 should get the job done. After a long silence, Ferry Porsche revealed that they had built 52 cars to win the championship the year before. The agreement between Wyer and Porsche called for the Gulf team to get 7 cars on loan with all future parts and engine rebuilds free, and although 917s would be sold to other teams, Wyer would get newly developed parts first. In the meantime, the 917's main problem of poor high-speed stability had been solved with short tail, or Kurschik, bodywork, resulting in the 917K. The 1970 season started extremely well for the Gulf team, with wins at the 24 Hours of Daytona, Brands Hatch, Monza, the Targa Florio, and Spa. For Le Mans, the team fielded 3 917s. Joe Siffert and Brian Redman were in the lead car, Pedro Rodriguez and Leo Kinnunen piloted the second, and Brits David Hobbs and Mike Halewood piloted the third. Ferry Porsche served as guest starter for the race in celebration of Porsche's 20th year competing at Le Mans, and this would be the first year without the traditional Le Mans start. Instead of running across the track and jumping into their cars for the start, the drivers set off safely strapped in the cockpit. From late afternoon until the next morning, the track was battered by rain. Crashes followed, including one that took out most of Ferrari's top contenders. After running as high as third place, Mike Halewood aquaplaned on the 50th lap and crashed into a stopped Alfa Romeo. The other 2 Gulf cars retired with mechanical failures, leaving the 4.5-liter Porsche Salzburg 917K piloted by Hans Hermann and Dickie Atwood to take the checkered flag. Just 16 cars were running at the finish of Le Mans in 1970. 12 of them were Porsches, and Porsches won all 4 classes as well as the Index of Performance and the Index of Thermal Efficiency. The 917 would win Le Mans once more in 1971 before the big 5.0-liter sports cars were banned for 1972. At first, the 917 engine had 520 horsepower and could go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 2.5 seconds. Its top speed was 250 miles per hour. Not bad for the 70s, right? Well, you still haven't heard the best part. The 917's engine was capable of much more than that. When Porsche used the 917 in Can-Am racing, which didn't have so many regulations, they tuned and turbocharged the engine to produce 1,000 to 1,500 horsepower. Absolutely mad. 1971 was Porsche's year. No one can convince us otherwise. The 917 broke 4 separate records that year. The fastest qualifying lap, most rapid in race wrap, highest top speed, and longest distance ever covered. As you see, the Porsche 917 isn't legendary because it won, Many cars did that, but it's the way it won.